This is our new How to Put an Album Together video.
Ooh.
So if you haven't fallen asleep halfway through, you might get the basics by the end of the video. I'm going to show you how to do the cover, the grey board cover and spine, and put it together with the architape. I've done one side already, as you can see. This is an 8x8 cover with a spine. I'll show you how to do this, and Maggie then will show you how to do the spiny bits and make up pages and what have you as we go through. So it's going to be one very long video, which you can stop and start as you wish, and you can fast forward it.
How rude! And we've done it in lighter tape.
So it was, yeah. So this is our light grey, pale grey tape. It's exactly the same as any other tape. It's sticky on one side. Oops, with a bit on.
It's our professional bookbinding tape.
It's our professional bookbinding tape, architape, and this is a 30mm wide one, which you can get in 5 metre rolls on the website. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to edge 3 sides of this, and I'll show you how I do this. There is an older video that Maggie shows you how to cover and put your spine and things together with a card. That is quite an old video, but it is lurking around somewhere on the channel.
That's the traditional method that used to be done, and I still do sometimes, but I have to say I prefer the architape finish on the edges.
Okay, so
I'll shut up now.
Yeah, well, there's always a first, isn't there?
How rude.
Okay, so I've peeled some of the tape back, and to stop it wasting it, I've started at the end, and I've peeled some of the tape back, and I've put this halfway, well, it's not quite halfway through, but nearly halfway through. Okay, and I'll stick that one there, and I'll peel the tape back, and I'll just move round.
It's very sticky, isn't it?
It is very sticky. Just make sure that's stuck down, and then for the final side, and then stick that down, and I'm going to cut it. And I want to make sure that the tape isn't over the edge. It can be slightly in a bit, but not over the edge, because that will affect.
Just zooming.
That will affect your spiny bit later.
Okay.
Okay. It's easier if I just lift it up to the camera, isn't it?
No, that's fine. I've got it. I'm going to zoom out now so I don't forget.
So I'll just cut this back. So I'll just move that one across. So as you can see, it's cut there. So I've now got tape on 3 sides. So on this, what I'm going to do now, I'm going to pinch the corners.
Hold on.
So that you get a crease, so you can see where the corner is.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you just do that on that side, and you can do it on the other side. Okay, don't squidge too much because the tape will stick together, but you just want it so you can see where the straight line is. And then I'm going to use a sharp pair of scissors. I was going to say cleaning ones. I don't mean that. I mean Teflon type ones.
Non-stick.
Non-stick is the word I was looking for. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to cut diagonal across here about 45 degree, but not quite into the corner. So I'm going to cut one, and I'll show you what I've done, because I have to do it facing me, I'm afraid. Okay, so I've done that. Can you see that?
Yes.
Okay, so I've done that. We'll do exactly the same on the other side.
I don't think you trust my zooming in techniques, do you?
Which is quicker if I just shove it.
Yeah, it is actually.
Shove it in your face.
And I don't have to remember to.
So I'll just pull that and pull that back.
Yeah.
Okay, like that. And what you can do now, you can cut the corners off just to make it a little bit neater when you put it down. So I'll just cut that corner off like that.
Down a bit. Perfect.
Okay, and I'm going to do the other side. And it's easier to take them off your scissors at this point and put them somewhere in a little pile that you can save till later and then throw them away.
If you find your scissors get gunked up, you can get that nail polish remover stuff in a pot, can't you?
You can. I haven't got any with me.
With a sponge in, you can just snip your scissors through there. It clears it.
Okay, so you can do exactly the same on the other side. So you'll notice that what I'm not doing is putting this down at the moment, because I don't want it to tape to go onto the grey board just yet. So pull that one back. Cut.
I like this colour tape. Okay.
So it's nice pearl grey, isn't it? So we did it instead of black, so you can actually see it. So what you do now is, holding this in your hand, is I'm going to lift this and pull it down and stick it.
Oh, hold on. So
I think you have to stick. I can't lift that up.
well, why not? I've zoomed.
You zoomed. Okay. So and I'm going to use a little bit of tension. Okay. So I'm going to pull and push down and squidge it in like that. So taking those corners off just means that you get a slightly neater finish when it finishes. Okay. So you do that the same on the other side. Okay. So lift up, pull down, and stick like that.
Right. Okay. Zoom out now.
Okay. And then getting your trusty Teflon tool, which I've got a multi-purpose one, but you can use your a bone folder, is just gently ease the tape onto the board, like so, and just work your way around. Can you see that all right?
Yeah, perfect.
Okay. So move that around. Same again. Okay. And then we're going to give that a good burnish later. Okay. And this side is you're going to do exactly the same for this side. So I'll take little triangle bits off that I should have done earlier. I didn't. Okay. So I'm going to cut that, but you're not cutting into the corner, but not to the corner. You want that little tag so you can pull it over.
Yeah, because if you snip the tags off, you can sometimes have a little bit of grey board exposed, can't you?
Okay, it's not a disaster because you can always colour it in with a bit cheap with a bit of pen.
Ah, you're using my cheats now. She was very sniffy about them to start with.
But, well, I say, it's one of those things, there's always a way out.
Yes, there is.
So I'm just cutting this again. Pull that back. Let's cut the corners off. Oops. Okay, now this one is slightly easier because you can put this as flat on the surface, and just
Hold on.
lift up and pull down. Just remove that little bit. That's triangle bits. Okay, and exactly the same. So the second one is a lot easier than the first one, and you're just lifting it up and pulling down with a little bit. This is a little bit of tension, not too much. Otherwise you're going to tear your tab. Okay, and then exactly the same again. Is use your Teflon tool, bring that over, and just burnish that down, and then now we can give it a good burnish because you can get it flat. Good. Okay. So pop it down. So once it's caught, give it a good burnish. You have to make that noise because otherwise
Very satisfying, yes, otherwise you're not burnishing well enough.
Yeah, otherwise Maggie makes me because you're not burnishing properly. Right, then turn over and make sure that's burnished down thoroughly.
That is a beautiful finish, isn't it?
Okay, and that gives you a nice finish on your corners. Can you see your corner? Is that a nice finished one?
Yeah.
If not, I'll go to that one and hopefully that was a nice finished one as well.
Yeah, they're all nice.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that gives you a nice finish on there. So when you put your card on there and mat it on, you get a nice corner. Okay. That's the reason why. So you don't have to watch me do that again. Here's one I did earlier. Okay. So I've got my two covers, and the spine is you top and tail it basically. So you're going to just put a piece on that end. So I'll just do that one. I've done one. Now let's do the other one. So I'll just pull this back. And the same technique again, halfway. And then, as you can see, I didn't take my triangle bits off the scissors, but never mind. Okay, so I'll do it there fine. I don't need them again, I don't think. Also do.
Yes, you do.
Right, so that, and then I'm just going to just put, use the bone folder, squish it together, give it a bit of a burnish. It doesn't matter if you come in a little bit from the sides, on either side on here, because you're going to cover that bit, but you don't want to come over it. Okay, so now what you're going to do now is you're going to stick your spines to your covers. And we're going to use our clever tools. So the standard ones we've got are 1/4 of an inch, which is that one, because it's 1/4 of an inch there. You also get 1/2 inch. These are 1/2 inch. On all of them, they're all 1/2 inch. So if you need 1/2 inch for anything, that is 1/2 inch, and that's 1/4 inch. So you get a pair of those, and then you also get a pair of 3/8. So that distance there is 3/8. Put it right around, so you can see it's etched on there. So that's 3/8. That's still half in here, and that's 3/8, and you get a pair of those. Maggie, what do you want me to use? For making the elbow, what do you want me to use? 3/8?
Use whichever you like.
Okay.
The reason we've done this is because in the past people have used
I'll do 1/4.
a shim between your cover and your spine, but if you find your hinges are splitting, if you've used a paper tape or you use card, your hinge width between your spine and your album is not big enough. Okay, so we've done this so that you can decide what size hinges you want depending on the dimension on your pages, and we do also do different size hinge spaces, don't we, Kay?
We do lots of hinge spaces, up to 1 inch, I think, in 3/8 of increments. Sorry, 1/8 in increments. Right, so what I've just done here, while Maggie was explaining.
Waffling on.
Yeah.
Which is what you were
No, I was
say.
explaining this time, so I was very good. Yeah, wobbling on as you should. I've got two pieces of tape just slightly twice as long as the spine. Okay, so you could probably give it a little bit more room, but I've been a bit mean there.
But you're also used to doing it as well.
That's true.
So.
I usually have loads left over, so I'm a bit too generous sometimes. So I've probably gone to the opposite extreme now. So anyway, so you're going to peel that back, and I'm going to use a 1/4 inch spacer. So the spine's going to be that side. Sorry, the spine's going to be that side, the cover that side, and that's going to be in the middle. So I'm going to lay this roughly at
about a third.
About a third in. Okay, I'm just going to straighten it up a bit because I know it's not straight there. Straighten that. So I haven't put any pressure on it, so I'll just lift it up and put that in like that. So with the waist, tear a little bit off the top and just put it at the top there, and it stops this sticking too much. And that fits in like that. And take some from the bottom and do exactly the same. Is this all in shot, Maggie?
Yes. Sorry, did you think I wasn't paying it? I was paying attention.
Okay, and then you get your spine. So you've topped and tailed it, so you've got tape all the way around the sides, and this works by just pushing it in there. So if you push it in there like that, so what you're going to find is that that's going to be straight, that end's going to be straight, so they'll be straight along, and this piece here is going to be 1/4 inch all the way down consistently. So you take your hinge spaces out.
Sort of locks into place, doesn't it?
It does,
as you line it up.
Yeah, it locks into place. So you peel that away.
Just
Okay.
a word of warning, if you have long hair or cats that like to walk around while you're using archi-tape, be careful because it is so sticky.
You get all and everything. So
Yes.
bring that across and bring that down. So you want to make sure that this is below that line there, which mine is just about. Okay.
And the reason for that
And give it a
is
good
so
burnish.
you don't have a gap or the join shows when you stick your spine in.
Okay, so we're about to find out whether that's going to be the case in my case. So
That'll be
lift that
fine.
up, and what I tend to do then is peel this back, and then I use a little bit of tension, and I just slightly pull it, and then press it down with my fingers, and then as you can see it is too long, but not by much, it's a little bit too long. So I'm just going to bring that up and cut that. So that's cut neatly there. Okay, so tiny bit out of the way. And now you obviously give it a good burnishing because otherwise I'll get nagged by Maggie.
Don't know what you mean.
Okay, and then we're going to do the next one exactly the same way. So,
Don't forget to turn it over.
so oh yes, that's a good point. That's a very good point. Is you want to make sure that your good side is the same on both sides. So,
So you don't have the seam.
so you don't. So the seam is on the same sides on both pieces on sides of the spine. So that would make more sense, wouldn't it? So I should have peeled this one off earlier, but I didn't. Let's peel this off. Right, to get your tape can be a bit fiddly. I prefer bringing the fabric side towards me and trying to hike it off. This was a lot easier when I had better nails, but still.
Whereas I do it the other way.
Yeah,
I
Maggie
sort
does it the other way.
I
So
sort
she,
of bend the fabric and then it just seems to lift off.
so it's whatever.
Personal choice.
Personal choice. So there's no right or wrong. It's taken me a long time.
But my way's better.
It's taking a long time. It's taking a long time for Maggie to realise there is more than one way.
Oh, I don't think that's fair. I think it's the other way round.
So right, so top and tail these again. So you've got your waist on there, so it doesn't stick. Same hinge space. So obviously you want the same size hinge spacer for this side, and this is my inside of the cover. So you just put that in place, and you put that in place, and you just offer this up, and just make sure that's squidged in there. That's in there. Lay it down.
You can actually see it's like locked in, isn't it? So
Yeah, so it's all
this
locked in.
makes-
So it's nice and straight, and you know that's 1/4 inch.
makes it so much easier.
So there's no guessing.
And it's quicker as
It's
well.
a lot quicker.
Yeah. It used to take me hours because I used to have a ruler wedged underneath and all sorts, so the
Yeah, you only need
top
quite-
and bottom was straight.
So just a little bit of tension and just switch that down. Same again on this side. So because I know that I had quite a bit left over, I'll just pull this with a bit of tension and just drag it down there. So I'll just leave the carrier sheet on this to about there, and I'm going to cut that. And that you might be able to get a mag pop out of that.
Oh, well, you might get. Yeah, I'm saying nothing.
or an eyelet
Yes.
too. So a little bit like that, you can use it for various bits and pieces. So anyway, give that a good burnish. God, see how I line that up. So who knew?
That's very impressive.
Anyone knew I've done this before? Okay, give this another good burnish, and then what you'll find is you have a cover, and all the edges are nicely neat, and it's a nice, easy, neat way of doing your covers.
And the hinges aren't going to tear, they're not going to rip.
No, because it's fabric, you can pull them around. Well, you can manipulate them any way you like. Okay, and that is your cover, and then we'll go over to Maggie in a bit, and she'll do the spine bit for you. Okay.
Brilliant. Go and have a cup of tea, because you'll need. Hi, we're going to talk about making a spine today for your album. There are lots of different ways that you can make it. We're going to make a spine today that has a 1/4 inch gusset. We do have dies that do actually do this, and you can see here this is the die as you run it. We have a few left. Okay. Yeah. These are the score lines. So you've got your 1/2 inch, 1/2 inch, 1/4 inch, 1/2 inch, 1/2 inch, 1/4 inch, and you've got the same with 1/2 inch, 1/2 inch, 3/8 of an inch. The gusset depth is important for how much dimension you want to add on your pages, because the more dimension you want to add, the wider your gusset needs to be. But at 1/2 inch is always the depth of our spine hinges. So I can show you what I mean. This is one made up. Okay, and this is a 1/4 inch gusset.
Well, I'm close, didn't it? Just on that.
Okay,
Yeah.
so when we talk about a spine hinge, this is actually the spine hinge. Okay, and that would be what you stick. I've got blue on my fingers now. That would be what you would stick your. You could either slot your pocket page directly onto it, and if you do that, I've lost it already. Right, if you slot your pocket page directly onto a hinge, you will get an effect like this. With a pocket page, it's this pocket page here has slotted directly onto that hinge, so it's very nice and neat. But as you go through, you'll see that the pages don't lie as flat as you would like to, and if you had a lot of dimension, you see what I mean, they sort of stick up a bit and they don't lie flat.
Yeah, do you want to, I had it zoomed in. I'll zoom out and you can see straight.
Okay, so you can see there, it's like that. They still lie nicely, but they're not as that is the page actually slotted directly onto the spine hinge there. Okay, what you can do is use one of our, which is what we recommend, is use one of our flexi hinges, whereby this is a bit longer, this one, but whereby the flexi hinge slots onto there. So your pocket page, I'll show you with one, so your pocket page actually slots onto there, and it looks like this. Okay, so that's your.
Yeah, so it's dead centre, and we've got close
that's
up
your
of that.
flexi hinge, okay, and that has been stuck onto the spine hinges. Now this is quite a difficult one to see because you've got your frame there, but you can see already that they're laying much flatter, and that's your flexi hinge there. You've got a lot more leeway and give with your pages, and you can put, there's loads of dimension in these pages as well. So that's how that works, but I'm going to show you how it all works anyway. Let's put those out of the way. There's only one thing you need to know about using your flexi hinges, and we'll talk through that later on, and that is you need to make sure, be careful when you're measuring your pages to fit in your album cover. So to make, you can either run your, if you have the die, you can run it through. You probably can't see it that way. I'm going to fold it up with this one anyway.
Okay.
You can run it through like that.
Okay, but I don't think we can see that.
Or you can use your scoreboard, and you would decide spine width wise what size you want your spine. This is an 8x8 cover that Kay made up. This spine is 7 inches wide. Okay, so if I use that as a spine height on my album cover, I'm going to have 1/2 inch each side, which I'm quite happy with. But what you need to think about is if you're going to have tabs and tags and things that are sticking out from your pocket pages, they're going to come out over here. So you might decide you want to add another 1/4 inch each side. It's really up to you. If you're not sure, do a rough mock-up with copy paper. Okay, that makes sense?
Yes. Yeah.
Kay's pulling a face. She's either falling asleep or thinking, Okay.
I didn't realise you were talking to me.
Okay, if you don't have the spine hinge die, you can do it yourself with a scoreboard. Okay, you need to allow a minimum of 2 inches for when you fold over and fit the spine in place. So I'm going to start at 2. Okay, and then I'm going to go 2.5, 3. That's my first spine hinge. Now I need a gusset, and I'm going to have 1/4 inch, so 3.25. Then I'm going half again. So 3 3/4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and this is why I use 1/8 inch scoreboard. Okay, and then 1/4 inch again. 1, 2, and then 1/2 inch. 1/4 inch. 7, 7.5, 8. So I should have there, I think. It's hard to, I find it harder to, right, okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4. I've got 5 spine hinges there, okay. So what you can do now is start with a valley, okay. So I've just bent it up like that, and it's exactly the same if you use the die plate. Okay, right, this is the most important thing. Okay, make sure those sides stay straight. Start in the middle, work down, middle, work up. Okay, if you just go from one end and go like that, you can slip and your line won't be straight. Okay, so your next one needs to be a mountain. So okay, hold it like that. They're still straight there, middle, middle. Same again, and you're just going to repeat this process all the way through until you've completed it. So we'll just keep going through. And manipulate your paper around. You don't, if you find it hard to fold one way, just turn it round another way. See, I find it easier to fold like that, then move it, keep it lined up there, go that way and that way. Okay, so that one. Now this is a narrow one with a 1/4 inch gap there. If you find it hard, you can always put a ruler on there and bend it up, but usually it will just do it gently with your fingers and it will start to line up in place. Pop that over. That's lined up nicely there. Middle again. Middle again. The most important thing is to get a really crisp finished result, and this is the bit that takes the time, along with the covering that Kay did. If you do your construction and take your time with it, you should always have a nice professional finish.
It's definitely more precise than the way I do it.
Sorry?
I'll do all the creases first and then go.
Do you?
Yes, and
yeah.
It's not as precise as
Yeah.
this one.
If you keep doing it like this, then you know you've got it lined up all the time. And the other thing is,
do that in future then.
Is make sure that your cardstock, when you're scoring it in the first place, is straight. Because usually they are, but sometimes you just think, you start to do it and then it's on a wonk. And you think, why has that happened? Next one. Lift it up. Make sure it's still lining up. Nearly there. That's just 1/4 of an inch one there. Had I burnished that? I don't think I had. Okay, that's straight there. Can you see this okay?
Yeah. That's right in front of the picture.
And then again. Okay, so that is how that is now.
Just go off and step back on again.
Okay.
Oh, no. There you go.
Okay, right, you can see I've got quite a large gap there, quite a large piece there, so I'll just snip that bit off. Okay, and then you're going to put your tape on next. Okay, so you're going to put your double-sided tape on one piece of your, one side of your 1/2 inch spine hinges. Okay, take your tape, and this is our super duper brand new Sticky Paws Pro tape, and it's double-sided tape. It's very strong and it's acid free, and it's on, it has a paper carrier, so you can just take your bone folder and go like that. I'm not going to burnish, I'm just going to work my way through. So what I'm doing, that's the first one, I'm going down to the edge nearest the 1/4 inch gusset. I'm just going to pop it on there. Like that. And pop that on there. I'm going to burnish it in a minute. I'm going to run that down there. Down there. Take your bone folder, just tear it. Your scissors don't get gunked this way. It's so much easier.
You haven't got that red line.
No.
Stuff either. So if it's on a paper backing, it's a bit more environmentally friendly as well.
It is, yeah. We've tried to do that as much as we can, can't we? Okay, right. So that's that there. So now I'm going to give that a good burnish.
Just a tad towards me. So.
Let's give it a good burnish. Okay, and then we're going to start again. So I'm going to take this one off here, and we're going to just fold it. As you fold it, make sure that your sides are always straight. Just lightly burnish.
Okay, can you just go towards, that's it.
Just keep repeating it. I'm going to burnish it at the end, give it a good burnish. Just keep going forward, push it. Okay, so right, now you're going to go this way, so go there, fold it. You don't need to worry so much about going in the middle and down because you've already done these creases, but just go. Okay, and then what I do then is turn it round and I work back the other way because you have more pressure as wherever you go, so you're getting good pressure all the way around, and it's just really to help really give a crisp finish. Right, and you can see now you've got, what you can then do as well, if you want, you just run through there. Okay, and you've got a really, really crisp finished spine. Okay.
That's it, yeah.
And that's what you want. Okay, and it does take time to do. If you rush it and you're slightly on the wonk, then it
everything else is going to be on the wonk.
yes,
Go, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so this is, I'm using this album cover that I've done. I'll just burnish that in a bit. Okay, so this one is going to fit on
Bring
here
it forward towards me.
like that. Okay.
So what size album cover is that?
The album cover is 8 inches high and it's 7.5 inches wide.
Okay, so it's slightly smaller than the one I did earlier.
Okay. So what I would do is I would stick this with bookbinding glue. Okay. You can use our double-sided tape, but I just prefer using bookbinding glue. Okay.
We did have some double-sided tape once upon a time, but there are sheets of it.
The double tack.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the other stuff as well. We have got some double-sided
right. Okay. So
larger sheets as well, so you can use those.
I tend to use both.
But I would probably use both. And if you're sticking something onto architape, I would definitely use a bit of PVA.
Yeah, definitely.
You're still awake, Kay. You're doing well. Is that
I am,
because you're drinking tea?
I'm drinking tea, that's why.
I've got quite a lot of glue on here, so I might want to take a bit off.
Right, because you're doing a flexi hinge.
Yes.
That's why you haven't snipped the.
Yes.
Okay.
Good point, Kay.
I woke up briefly.
Yeah, I'd completely forgotten about that. Good point. I've got so used to always doing a flexi hinge now.
Give me that. I'll remove it.
Right, okay. So what we're going to do is best to do this standing up. We did have some alignment guides, but we're out of stock of those at the moment. And you want to sort of try and centralise it.
Oops. Sorry, I just kicked.
You just kicked it.
Yeah.
Okay. Right. So we're just going to leave that some architape there. If you let the architape dry, if you let the glue dry, if it's gone on to anything, let it dry completely, and then you can use one of our glue rubbers, and that will take off any excess. I'm not quite in the centre, but this is how it works. Okay. So then take your multi-purpose tool. And just be very gentle with this bit. Turn it round again, because remember about the pressure from different ends. Now don't, whatever you do, use a sharp end or a pointy end of a bone folder down your hinges here. Take your cover and just very lightly give it a little wiggle, and then go in sideways, the side of your tool or your bone folder. Just go in gently, like that.
So you're basically stretching the fibres.
Yeah, just give it time to stretch. You've got to treat it gently.
And it's going to be wet anyway because you've got
Yes,
glue on
it
it.
is.
If you put glue on it. That's why I tend to use. I like both actually. I do tend to use both.
Right. Okay. So just do that there.
And use a bit more down on the end of the spine this side.
Yes, this side.
Yeah, no, those two bits there.
Okay, I'll just be around to do that in a minute. I'm just doing that around there. Okay.
Really, because I can see it from the side.
Right. Okay, and then you can go in here, and again do exactly the same. Work your way up in between. That's why I like these as well, because they've got the width. And then I'm going to turn it round. I'm going to do exactly the same so that I know I've had the same pressure applied all the way through. Seems like a bit of a faff, but it is worth doing. Is that stuck?
Yeah, that was stuck.
Okay, right, and then give that time to dry. Okay, this is another spine that we've made up, and this is just to show you how you can use a spine with a pocket page without a flexi hinge if you don't want as much dimension. So you make your spine up. Before sticking it into your album, you're going to put double-sided tape on both sides, and you do not want to go into the crease score line there.
Let me zoom in on that.
Okay, it's not very straight, but yeah,
Hold
you
on.
do.
Let's zoom out a bit. So you're in focus
You
now.
don't want to go into the score line there. Okay, so you're going to do that on both sides of your spine hinges for each one. All right, and then what you're going to do before you stick it into your cover is you're going to snip a corner off, each one. Now you're going to make sure that you don't snip below the fold line. Okay?
Okay.
I'm going to snip there and do the other end and snip there, and you're going to repeat that. Don't remember, you would have double-sided tape on all of these. You're going to repeat that all the time, like that, and the same the other end. Okay, so your spine would then be like that. Okay, and you can see, you might see you've got a little bit of, no, that's fine. Okay, that's fine. I'm just going to show you, if you snip below the score line, when you stick your hinge, stick your spine in, can you see you get like a mouse's nibble?
Go towards you, Tad. Towards you. That's it. There you go.
Can you see you get like a mouse's nip there? Instead of a nice,
yes.
This bit here, instead of a nice straight edge, which you've got there. So that's why you don't cut below that line.
Okay.
Okay? It's not the end of the world if that happens, but that's what you're aiming to avoid. So these would be your, that's your spine hinge stuck in place. Here is your pocket page, and a pocket page is basically a page that you've made up.
I'll zoom back out again.
Yeah, zoom back out. Okay, so a pocket page is basically a page that you've made up that's got two sides and it's open each end like that. So the idea of a pocket page is that this will be in your spine will be fixed in your album. Okay, and then your pocket page. Now we always recommend putting your pages in once you've decorated them, because you've got much more leeway moving your pages around and things. But what you would do is, we will show you how to do that.
There's a lot of a lot of our videos.
On our old videos.
Well,
but you
a lot
could do
of
like
videos.
You could do like rabbit's ears and pull a bit off each side. Okay.
Yeah, so it's on all the big album making
yes,
things we do.
It is.
That's the end ones.
Okay, so you're going to take your pocket page, and the idea is your pocket page slots onto there like that. Okay, and then it fixes on that spine, and that's your spine hinge like that. So that is a pocket page fixed directly onto a spine hinge like that. Okay, and that's also a 1/4 inch gusset. So
yeah, you got 3/8 of an inch gusset there.
Yeah. Okay. So that's like that. So that's a pocket page like that. Okay.
On the spine.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
That's it.
Okay. Right, now we're going to do pocket pages, and the first thing you need to decide is what type of pocket page you want. If you want one that's going to slot directly onto your spine hinge, as we showed with Kay's, then you know that the pocket page is going to finish there. So you have 1/2 inch all round, 1/2 inch top, bottom and side, because this page is 7 by 7 and it's an 8 by 8 album cover. Okay. But if you want to put a flexi hinge on, and this is our flexi hinge, and I will show you how to make that up, and you pop that into there. It's just with the flex. I'll show you how to make the flexi hinge up, but I'll just show you. Okay, so that's in there in our pocket page, and the reason we do a flexi hinge is so your page has more freedom of movement. It can flex, as it were. Okay, so you would pop your flexi hinge onto there like that. Okay, now that looks fine at the moment. Yeah, when you close your page, can you see your page is moving right to the edge of the album like that, which you don't want. Okay,
No, you don't.
so what you would do then is decide, okay, right, I need to make a page that is probably 1/2 inch narrower. So this one is 6.5 inches as opposed to 7, and then we'll make it up as a pocket page. If you're in doubt about your pocket page sizes, what I would recommend is make something up in copy paper first. I still do that sometimes because I think, oh, I haven't got my head round it. Is it right? And it's better to do it then than make it all up, decorate it all, and then it doesn't fit in your album.
Lots of swearing will ensue.
It certainly will. But when you're using a flexi hinge, you also don't need to chop the corners off. Just leave them straight like that. Okay, so for this one, I'm going to do a pocket page that is 7 inches tall by 6.5 inches wide. So I've cut one piece that's 7 inches tall and that's 6.5 inches wide. That's my base page, that's my working page, okay? And then this one is 8 inches by 6.5. So it's very simple. Pop it in landscape layout and then we're just going to score.
So that long side is 8 inches?
Yes, 1/2 inch, and I always turn it around and do another 1/2 inch that way. 1/2 inch. Okay, so theoretically this base page, yes, will fit in between your 2 score lines there.
Do you want to zoom in on that?
If you want to. No, it'll fit in between your 2 score lines.
Okay, move down a bit. Okay, that's it.
Okay, so now we need to put tape onto here. So I'm going to take our trusty tape again. And again, we're going where the score line is. We're going just above the score line. Just going to burnish. Okay, and then you're going to fold these
And bring it down towards, that's it.
like that. Okay, so one there, one there. Same this side. One there, and one there. Okay, and the idea is that you're going to stick that one on top of there, and that will create your pocket page. Okay, so the easiest thing to do is line it up like that. I can see my tape's not. I'm just going to trim that edge off because I missed a bit. Okay, so make sure that's burnished well. Line that up along there. Take your tape bit off. Okay, right, butt those up together.
Just
Can you see?
Tad. Yeah, just a little bit.
Yeah, okay. And then you're just going to fold that over like that. Okay, and then you're going to take this one off. And that one, keeping it straight each side, that's just going to fold onto there like that. And then you've got a really nice pocket page. Okay, so your flexi hinge, we do have a die for the flexi hinge. This is it here. And Kay's used it. This is what Kay used to make her pocket box thingy.
Yeah, the pink one.
Okay,
Which
so it's
you might have
12
seen
inches long, 12 inches long, and it's got score lines every 1/2 inch. You can use it for a multitude of things. So this is one that's already been scored, and I've cut it to 7 inches. But again, you can do this with a scoreboard if you don't have the die. So just lightly hold it one way. And it's really funny because sometimes I think, oh yeah, it'll be much quicker if I just go half, 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 half with my scoreboard. And I start to do it and it's never as precise, it's never as accurate. So then I always think, why did I bother to do that? Because I know I'm going to get the die out and use it anyway. Okay, so just go back there. There. Just let you...
So you fold it in half, then fold it back on itself?
Yes. So I'll show you in a minute. You'll end up with a... So you'll end up with that.
Oops, I'm going wrong way. Bring it towards me. And it's out of focus, and it's now in focus. Okay.
Yeah? Okay. Right, so then you want to stick this bit here. You can take your tape. Just pop it in. Get 50 metres in this, don't you, Kay, on a roll?
It's quite a lot of roll. Yeah, it's quite a lot on the roll.
Okay, right, so burnish. Hoik that off. Fold it over. this bit, that has now become your page hinge, that bit, and that piece is the bit that's going to slot into your pocket page, okay? And you can see thinking, oh, it's not going to fit. Yes, it is going to fit. Make sure that's the right length as that. Yes, it is. So now you need to put double-sided tape on both sides of this, same as you would if you were doing a pocket page spine without a flexi hinge.
You do it at this point, or would you decorate it first?
No, I always put my flexi hinge on before I decorate my pages.
Okay, just checking.
Good question though, Kay.
Oh, one of my better ones.
The reason I do that as well is so I can remember which side is the hinge side of the page.
It helps.
I used to write an H before, but now I don't need to. Okay, so let's burnish those. And burnish those. And then you want to put tape on there and on there. Not on this one, because these will be visible when you stick them onto the spine. Okay? But you can always put decorative paper over the top, which is what Heather's done, I think, in her album.
Yeah, she did, yeah. I think that was deliberate then. I don't think it's because she was trying to cover up a mistake.
No, I think she'd done it as a... because you could paper match all the way through and do it as a decorative feature.
You can do. We've got some clever strips that will give you the precise cut as well.
Yes. In 1/8 of an inch increments.
Really?
Ooh, ah. Right, okay, so pop that one on there. Right to the end. Okay, so burnish those really well. I like the carrier of this as well, it's nice and thick, it's not all thin and weedy. Okay, right, so now this is the bit that's going to slot in your pocket page. Okay, so now you're going to snip it.
Right, so do you want me to zoom in a tad?
Yep.
Okay.
Okay, so you're going to snip in just to there.
So how was it in relation to the fold?
Oh,
You don't want it to go over, is it?
you can do it from the fold edge. You can actually, this time you might find it easier to cut from the fold edge and just cut up. Okay. So what you do now is then that will slot into there like that. Okay. So you've got a nice neat, can you see, that's like that. So what you would do then is take, if you're not au fait with this, take your double-sided tape off, and I would put a little bit of
I'll zoom out a bit. So
a little bit of glue just for some wiggle room. But this is bookbinding glue, so again it might grab too quickly. So you might find you're better with a collar or what do you call it, a Pritt stick.
Oh, right. Oh yeah.
Something like that. Okay, right. So then you're going to pop that in there. Pop that in there. Line it up. Line it up. Fold that up so the edge of the page is on the curve there, on the fold there, and the same that side, and then just burnish. Okay. So that's that, like that. So then, when you've decorated your page, you can stick that on there, you can stick that on there, and hopefully when you close your book, your page will come to there. You've got 1/2 inch border.
Yeah, I can't see it for the camera.
No, you can't. You have 1/2 inch border.
That's it. That's
like
nice and
that. Okay, so we're going to make a pocket page using from a piece of A4 card, which you can cut down slightly. You will be using a spine of 5.5 inches depth. So this piece of card is 7 inches that way and 11.5 inches that way. So I'm going to pop it into my scoreboard, and then I'm going to score it at 1/2 inch this way. I'm going to turn it round, and I'm going to score it at 5.5 inches that way. Okay, hopefully I've got the measurements right. Okay, so that one's going to fold there. So I folded in half at the 5.5 inch mark, so we'll just burnish there and there. And then we're going to fold this one in here. That's my 1/2 inch that I did the other side. And I'm going to pop a little bit of double-sided tape on
Don't
here.
move it tad towards me because I can't see what you're doing.
Okay, I'm going to pop some double-sided tape along here. Okay. This is so quick.
It was quick.
And that is a pocket page.
Okay.
Okay, and there's one more you can do. This is just a little tiny piece, but basically the concept is exactly the same for however you want to do it. And it's just doing a single page for your album. So all you need to do is just do a 1/2 inch score just down there. Okay, you would put double-sided tape on this side. Okay, and then that can be, you can have that sticking onto a spine like that, and then to cover that bit you can have a pocket there. You can just leave it like that, but you can just have a single page one. So if you're just starting out on albums and you're really not sure, this is a really good one to do, because you can just do single pages.
Yeah, you'd
and
have
stick it on.
quarter inch gusset for that then, wouldn't you?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. You'd still always have your same spine with the gusset, but this will be 1/2 inch that fits onto your spine hinge there. So as long as your flap is 1/2 inch, your hinge is 1/2 inch, you'll be fine. And you can stick it there, or you could stick it, if you didn't want to stick it that way, you could stick it on the back that way, but I think it looks better that way.
Okay.
So that's a really easy way to do it.
Okay.